Let the controversial opinions continue with why I hate Leo Valdez this time, or specifically, why Leo Valdez is a bully. Just wait. Don't start arguing yet. Just wait. Now, as you'll remember of last week, I've decided to do controversial opinions because people are telling me to unalive myself. And I thought, why not go in deep this time with probably the most popular character, who is a character I have done videos on before, talking about, in one case, why Leo Valdez should have stayed dead at the end of Blood of Olympus, and being told to unalive myself about that. So, here I am again, awaiting the death threats, with this video talking about the fact that Leo Valdez is actually a bully. Now, I have talked about this a lot on my podcast, which is linked in the description box down below if you want to go check that out, where I go into detail because I'm, going chapter by chapter or chapter sections by chapter sections. And the more I've been reading Heroes of Olympus, the more I'm realizing that I just generally dislike, if not hate. I hate Leo Valdez, specifically because of the fact that Leo Valdez is not a nice guy. Leo Valdez is just cruel in many cases, but specifically towards Frank Zhang. Now, I am currently on Mark of Athena on my podcast, and obviously this is the first time we have Leo and Frank meeting each other. And the amount of stuff that Leo does to Frank, I question why people like Leo based on all the stuff that's happening here. Not only does he steal all of Frank's clothes and use them as bait for the Roman eagles without telling him, the clothes are then lost, leaving Frank with literally nothing except the clothes he currently has on. He proceeds to call Frank fat, not in the actual word, but just talking about how he's too big to fit in things. He then proceeds to talk about how he doesn't have that much sympathy for the rich boy, talking about his mansion burning down, even though Frank has just said he doesn't know if his grandma is dead or alive because their house went up in flames with her inside it. Leo, at no point during this conversation about dead mothers, and in Frank's case, being without any form of family in very recent times, Leo's mum died, maybe a decade ago? Frank's mum died 2 months ago, and his gran has only died maybe 2 weeks ago. And Frank says that he's sorry for Leo's loss, and Leo does not say it in return. To continue, not only does he make fun of Frank's abilities, he considers setting his hands aflame multiple times after finding out that Frank has a fear of fire. Now, I know intrusive thoughts are a real thing, but thinking it multiple times, even when he finds out that fire could literally kill Frank, then it gets a bit much. Continuing on, Leo antagonizing Frank in front of Hazel to make himself look better. Leo pushing other people's boundaries, not even relating to Frank, pushing other people's boundaries beyond what they are comfortable with. Piper tells him she doesn't like being called beauty queen. Does he stop? No. Leo continuously fat-shaming other people. I know there's actually a thing that the books do in general, and unfortunately a lot of kids' books do in general, but you don't need to do it. Especially when he then goes on to, of course, fat-shame Frank, someone he's meant to be friends with, quote-unquote. And it just gets, at this point, it's just vindictive. And for what? I truly do not understand the reason why he keeps going after Frank. and why no one stops him. There's literally a moment earlier in the book where Frank has the whole thing with like the finger trap thing, and he gets out of it by turning into a lizard, and everyone makes fun of him, specifically Leo. And the response afterwards is basically Annabeth telling Frank the only reason why he's bullying you, obviously they don't use that word, but he is. The only reason he's bullying you is because he's afraid of you. What? How have we gotten around to then victim blaming Frank for Leo bullying him? I mean, no. Leo's attitude is never checked. This boy pushes girls' boundaries, bullies another boy, tries to go after another guy's girlfriend, and then verbally bullies him to make himself look better. I don't even know why he's doing it. It's a weird ass thing. And he never gets told off for it. He never faces any consequences for his actions. In fact, he just gets worse, especially with Frank and Hazel. I know, a lot of the things that Leo does is bullying. There's literally no other way to describe his character. His character is a bully, and yet he's continuously rewarded for this behaviour. He's a guy who pushes girls' boundaries and continuously hits on them, even when they've expressed, no, I'm not interested. He doesn't let it go. He bullies another kid to the point that the kid ends up being victim blamed for what this guy is doing to them. And in response, he gets a girlfriend who he was also verbally unkind to. I know Calypso was just as bad to him, but that's not any better. And also never apologises to Frank or Hazel for what he did, and then makes them responsible, in a sense, for his death. I know we know he's not dead, but they don't know that. So he's put the responsibility of his quote-unquote death on these two people, one of whom he was relentlessly bullying for weeks on end for no reason. I just don't like Leo, and he never improves. The only time we see some form of improvement is because at the end of Tower of Nero, Raina has gone into his life and basically said, wise the fuck up and don't be a dickhead. I'm going to teach you how to respect women. But how has it taken another woman having the burden of teaching a boy how to respect people? I know he didn't grow up with a family figure, but he did have his mum for a lot of his life. You think he'd know how to respect women to a degree, but apparently not. I don't know. I know I rip into Leo a lot, especially on my podcast, which is why I get these threats. But I legitimately do not understand why he is people's favourite character. I know the humour and the coping mechanism for, trauma and stuff like that. But no one ever talks about the fact that he bullies people, that he continuously pushes people's boundaries, that he continuously crosses people's boundaries. Someone tells him not to do something, he never stops doing it. To kind of end this video, I generally want to understand why people like Leo. Because I don't get it, because he's a wanker to me. So, if you are going to send a threat, please send me an explanation for why you like Leo, and I will legitimately listen. And maybe I'll do a response video to this of responding to the comments for people's thoughts on Leo as a character. But for now, Leo's a wanker. I'm probably going to be cussed out so badly, and I'm ready for it. So thank you all so much for tuning into this video of me just ranting about Leo. The best kind of video from me. If you want to support this channel, be sure to hit subscribe. I don't know which side it is. Or check out my Patreon. You can get early access to YouTube videos, podcasts, all that fun stuff. And leave comments, share with your friends for the algorithm. And again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.